Finally, we all have something in common with James McAvoy, a fear of celestial clowns who are maybe also metaphors for generational trauma. When It and It Chapter 2 were released in 2017 and 2019, respectively, they invigorated the interest in Stephen King's cosmic, clown-based horror novel of the same name. If you'd already read It, you were probably rereading it in anticipation. And if you'd never touched the book in your life, you were almost certainly stepping into the world of Derry, Maine, to get down with the clown to see what all the fuss was about.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
Before McAvoy joined the Grown-Up Losers Club crew in the film's sequel, he decided to reread the book in preparation for his role as the adult version of Bill, the de facto leader of the group who lost his younger brother Richie to the murderous Pennywise as a kid.
Hiya, Georgie. What a nice boat.
In an interview with Entertainment Weekly promoting the sequel, McAvoy admitted that cracking open the book and diving back into the world of It scared him far more as an adult than it did when he was a kid.
This isn't real enough for you, Billy. I'm not real enough for you.
He said in the interview, "When I reread It as an adult for the film, I actually had nightmares about Pennywise in a way that I never did as a child. Pennywise's unnerving grin might haunt the minds of children everywhere, but it's easy to see how the darker aspects of King's book could make the story feel far more unnerving to an adult. It trades in a whole suite of traumatic events, including childhood death, sexual assault, bullying, and hate crimes. While a clown monster might feel like an impossible enemy to a kid, the adults of It are also dealing with the weight of these larger issues, on top of admitting that growing up and moving away hasn't solved any of their problems, a pretty much universal lesson we all tend to learn at some point in our lives."
I want to run towards something, not away.
In the same interview, McAvoy touched on some of the heavier themes in It and It Chapter 2, saying, "King's writing about a small American town. He's writing about death. He's writing about growing old, growing up, and the movie is very much about that. You could argue the first movie is as much Stand By Me and Goonies and all those things as it is a horror movie. The It sequel may have played around with King's source material, but McAvoy brings a world-weary, haunted feeling to his portrayal of Bill that readers of the book will know well." McAvoy himself describes the character as very lost and drifting through life as he continues to deal with the fallout from his younger brother's death and his missing trauma from fighting Pennywise.
We can't remember, can we?
One of the most touching and relatable aspects of McAvoy's role is how he carries his grief so close to the surface. When Bill was young, his brother's death became part of a larger conspiracy that motivated him to keep fighting, giving him and his friends a common enemy to defeat. With his memories of Pennywise faded, adult Bill is left with nothing more than senseless grief.
I hate you! I hate you!
The pain of losing a loved one might not be as acute as time wears on, but McAvoy's Bill has unlocked a horrible grown-up secret. The pain never really goes away, and there's nothing you can do about it. There's no monster to fight or ritual to complete. Grief simply changes you in ways both big and small for the rest of your life. Bill's unrelenting grief is encapsulated in the Hall of Mirrors scene in It Chapter 2, where Bill chases a child through a funhouse in an attempt to save him from Pennywise. The scene was born out of a conversation between McAvoy and director Andy Muschietti. McAvoy elaborated in his interview with Entertainment Weekly, "We were missing a vital story beat for Bill, where he dealt with his guilt that he caused his brother's death. I said to Andy, what can we do? And literally in 50 minutes, he invented a whole new sequence. It was never in the script, and it isn't in the book. It's brilliant." McAvoy's Bill is a man facing a cacophony of fears. Beyond the clown, he has to grapple with his own grown-up nightmares that revolve around senseless violence and all-consuming grief. And through it all, he's trying to correct the childish mistakes of his past. Bill is doing anything he can to put an end to the violence, even if it feels like an impossible task. What could be scarier than that?